All right, I think we'll go ahead and get started. Well, welcome everybody. It's nice to have you all with us. Hello, my name is Lisa Pappas, and I am the Associate Director of Student Success and Retention in the Office of International Programs, and I work with students to help deal with any kinds of questions or issues that come up during their time at CSU. This morning, we're going to have a number of our staff share some information with you about how to get your I-20, about housing, what it's like to come to CSU, how to prepare for your travel here. And so we're going to hopefully share some helpful information with you and give you some opportunity to meet the staff of our office. And so we'll go ahead and get started. The staff is going to share with you their name and their role and what they like about Fort Collins and also what brought them to the experience of working with international students. And so we'll go ahead and get started. Greg, why don't you kick us off?
All right. Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Greg Weimer, and I'm the Director for International Students and Scholars here at CSU. And again, just to echo Lisa, welcome. Glad that you're here. This session, we just want you to get to know who we are, but then also set expectations of what you can anticipate as you arrive here at CSU. And so it's going to be a pretty packed-filled presentation full of experience. My role here, again, is Director of International Students and Scholars, and I'm just going to answer the question of what's an experience that led me to want to work with international students. And so in my undergraduate, I had two close friends, Rafi Shiko and Claudia Gexiola. Rafi was from Pakistan and Claudia was from Mexico, and they have been lifelong friends. And I saw kind of the what it was like for them as international students attending a U.S. institution. And as the opportunity came up to work with international students, probably 25 years ago, I jumped at it, and it has been just a fantastic experience. And so that is what led me to want to work with international students. And I am passionate, and I think our team is passionate about really meeting your needs and actually just caring about you as you come to Colorado State University. So again, welcome. And I will, I think, Lisa, do you want to pick the next one, or should I just kind of ask someone else?
Sure, I can go ahead and ask. Christy, why don't you go ahead and share with us?
Sure. Hi, my name's Christy Eiler. I use she, her pronouns. I'm the Associate Director for International Student Services here in the office. And I really love CSU because I think the folks that work here at CSU really care about the students, about you all, and making sure that you are having a super positive learning experience, that you feel cared for, and that you belong to the CSU community. And then for me, I don't know if I could name a specific experience that led me to work with international students, but I've just always, as far back as I can remember, just had this real curiosity to learn about all types of people who may be different from me in different ways, and just get to know other cultures and understand different experiences in the world. And so I found this great job where I get to meet and learn from all of you and help to support you along the way. And I will pass it to John.
Good morning, everybody. My name is John Hildebrand. I am the manager of International Student Advising Services here at the ISSS office. And I love Fort Collins for all of the friendly people, and it's a beautiful, beautiful town. We're close to the mountains, and we have great weather and lots of fun things to do. So I think you'll really enjoy moving here and building a community here in Fort Collins and at CSU. The experience that led me to want to work with international students was when I was an undergraduate student. I studied in Costa Rica, and I had a very difficult experience. It was very challenging for me. I didn't speak Spanish very well, and I was in classes that were too difficult for me. And I didn't have very much support when I was there. And I thought that, in my career, I'd like to provide the support that I wish that I had in my study abroad experience. And that really led me to want to work with international students. And it's been the favorite part of my career is meeting people from around the world and helping support you in your experience here. So we're excited to welcome you to CSU soon. Lisa?
Hi, well, all right, Alan, why don't we have you share, please?
Thank you. My name is Alan Boyd, and I'm also an advisor here at the International Student Services. And one thing that led me to work here is my own experience being a student living and working abroad. I lived in Turkey and in Russia and Poland and a little bit in South Korea. And I just got a huge swell of encouragement from all the people that I met living in another country and being a foreigner myself. And so I really am here to help students who come to America have a similarly awesome experience. And I'm happy to get to meet each of you after you arrive. Thank you.
Great, thanks, Alan. Laura, how about you share?
Good morning, everybody, and welcome. My name is Laura Arcila, and I am also an international student advisor here at CSU. Besides the fact that I like this town, and as John was saying, it's a beautiful place to be. I really love my role because it allows me to support all the international students that come through our doors. And I have been an international student myself here in the US. I know how important it is to feel supported. And so I kind of know in my skin how it is like for an international student to be here. And so I'm here to help you in every way we possibly can to make your experience more smooth and more rewarding. So welcome. And
Great, thank you, Laura. Appreciate it. Melinda?
Hello, everybody. My name is Melinda Lavelle, and I'm the SEVIS coordinator. SEVIS is the government database that where your immigration record is. So I manage all of the students' immigration records. And when you get your I-20, you will have a SEVIS record. So that's part of my job, what I do. The experience that led me to want to work with international students, I am half Korean and half American, and in growing up in the US, my father would always have relatives and friends coming from Korea. So I was always around internationals. I loved that. And then I was able to live overseas in North Africa and Tunisia and also in France. And I've always loved being around other countries and cultures. So that it's a great joy. I love working with with students from all over the world. It's a real privilege. So I'm looking forward to meeting all of you, and I'm sure you will be receiving emails from me and hearing from me. So look forward to having you here. Thank you, Lisa.
Great, thank you, Melinda. Zach, would you like to share, please?
Yeah, thanks. Hi, everyone. My name is Zach Downey. I've been at CSU now for about 4 years. Previous to being here, I lived in Indiana and I worked in libraries, which I loved. But I went a different direction when I got out here, partly spurred by the fact that my wife and I do love to travel. We've been to Thailand, Brazil, French Polynesia. We recently took a trip to Ireland and Iceland. And I've decided I want to live in Iceland, but I don't know how realistic that is. But I love working with international students. Travel is important, and being exposed to other cultures is just a very, very important thing, and I support it fully. So I'm happy to be here, and I'm happy to help you all get your documents. That's what I do. I create the Form I-20 or a DS 2019 for some of you. So you'll see my name is my guess.
Great, thank you, Zach. Erin?
Hi everyone, my name is Erin Wish. I'm the manager of our J1 Scholar Program, so I probably won't be working with you very closely since I'm on the scholar side rather than the student side. I've been working in the office for the last 7.5 years. That's when I moved to Fort Collins. I really like it because of all of the outdoor activities. And I'm originally from Washington State, where it rains a lot more than it typically does here. So I like that as well. The reason that I got involved in this field, when I was 10 or 11, I stumbled across an online pen pal website and I had pen pals from all over the world. And there was one in particular that I became very close with. And after about 8 years of correspondence, when I was in my undergrad program at Washington State University, I made plans to study abroad and meet up with her. So that was really cool. And that was just kind of the starting point for me. And after studying abroad, I knew that I wanted to work with international students and in the field of international education. So welcome.
Great, thank you, Erin. And now the Queen of Fun, and you'll learn why I'm calling her that. Bronwyn, why don't you share?
Hi, everyone. Welcome. My name is Bronwyn, and I get to plan all the fun events and programs that you'll have access to when you're here. So hopefully you will think that the things that we do are fun. But we do lots of events throughout the year, and I am lucky to be the person that gets to organize those. And I love working with CSU students, with international students, and I was drawn to this because my whole life I've moved multiple times, every couple of years, every 2 to 4 years, and I've lived internationally a number of times as well. So I know how difficult it can be to make connections, to make friends, to find things to do. And so it's why I do what I do to help you all.
Great, thank you, Bronwyn. And so we'll go ahead and get started. We're gonna share some information about your journey to CSU. I don't know, Greg, if you have any other comments? If not, we'll go ahead and get Zach started with talking.
Yep, thank you, Lisa. All right. So there are several key things you're going to need to get ready so that we can create a Form I-20 for you. So you've been admitted to CSU. Awesome, congratulations. Now we need some paperwork, or more paperwork. I guess you've already submitted some things. One of the big things we need is a valid passport. Your passport cannot expire within 6 months of when you're entering the US. So let's say the spring semester starts January 16th. So if your passport expires before June 16th, you will not be allowed entry into the US. So be sure that you've got a valid recent passport so that we can ensure that you're going to be able to get it across the border. And so after that, we start looking at your financial documents. I'm going to post some links in the chat that tells you what sort of financial documents are allowed. There's quite a few things that we don't allow, such
Zach,
as
I don't mean to. Yeah, okay. We need to be back on the PowerPoint. I just wanted to make sure someone knew.
Yeah. So yeah, we can't accept pension statements or tax documents or lists of assets, that sort of thing. The primary thing we're looking for is bank statements like a savings or checking account that has at least the minimum amount of estimated expenses. You can use multiple bank statements. So let's say your parents are helping you, or an aunt or an uncle or a cousin. You can submit financial documents from all of them, as long as the total is at least the estimated expenses for your first year. And that includes tuition, living expenses, all of that. One of the links I'll post is about the estimated expenses. Tuition and fee, yeah. So on the PowerPoint, you're seeing tuition and fees, living expenses. If you're bringing a dependent or multiple dependents, that is extra money. So you'll have to be sure and account for that as well. And I'm seeing now that it's talking about the types of funds, so I got a little out of order there. But if you have any questions about a financial document, feel free to send an email to our office. Either myself or one of my colleagues will get back to you as soon as we can and let you know if it's going to be a valid document. Keep in mind that not only are we looking at these, but when you go for your visa interview, the consular official may also be asking to look at those. So it's very important that you have all of the correct documents and you're ready for all of that. Again, I'm going to post a couple of links in the chat. So if you do have questions about that, you can follow the links or ask us questions. So that's it for me. Thank you all.
Great. Alan, can you share a little bit about the visa appointment?
This nice photo that you're looking at is a picture of the trial garden at CSU. And this is kind of a beautiful and unique garden we have at CSU where seed companies are testing to see which variety of seed produces the most beautiful and vibrant flowers. So it's kind of fun to take a stroll through here in the summer and fall to check out the results. Anyhow, I will just like to tell you a little bit about the visa appointment. It's important that you follow the steps that Zach was just mentioning before you attempt to create a visa appointment. You must have already received the I-20 and also paid the SEVIS fee. It's called the I-901 fee, and it's $350 right now. And so you have to take those two steps before you can create the appointment. And because you need the SEVIS ID number that is listed on the I-20 in order to create the appointment. You may actually wait to pay the SEVIS fee until maybe the day or so before your appointment, but it's important to know that you do have to take the receipt of the I-901 payment to your visa appointment. Otherwise, they may tell you that you can't get the visa. In some cases, they may say, you can get the visa after you show us that you pay the receipt, but make the payment. But it's just better and more efficient for you to make this payment before you go to your visa appointment. Now, we do have some tips for the visa interview listed on our website. Typically, the visa interview only lasts 2 or 3 minutes, which may seem like not enough time to conduct a proper interview. However, they are so busy and there are so many visa applicants. So you have these 3 minutes just to answer a handful of questions, maybe 3 or 4 questions. They will ask you something like, why are you going to go? Why do you want to go to CSU? Or what are your plans after you complete your degree? And the only advice I can tell you is just be honest and answer the questions. You don't have to give any more information than what they ask, but they want to hear why you chose CSU, why you chose the particular degree at CSU, and what you're going to do when you return to your home country after you complete the degree. Those are things that you can talk about in your interview. Now, like I said, we do have some materials on our website to give a little different, a little more advice about the visa interview, but there's not much to say because it is so brief. And if you have any questions about the visa appointment creation or a visa interview, I am happy to talk with you about that before you go. So thank you for listening.
Great, thank you, Alan. Now we're going to have Christy share a little bit about housing and some academic information.
Hey everyone. So in terms of housing, the main message I want you to hear today is apply as soon as possible. Housing both on campus and in the community of Fort Collins is really tight. And so the earlier you apply, the more likely you are to get a spot that you really want to be in. If you are an incoming undergraduate and you're a freshman, you're most likely going to be required to live on campus in the residence halls. So just keep that in mind as well. You don't want to look for off-campus space if you are one of those folks that's required to live on campus. There are some cases where that can be waived, but there aren't a whole lot of ways to be able to do that. So living on campus, we do have on-campus family and student apartments, and it can be pretty convenient and affordable. So if you can find a spot there, I would look into that, and again, just to apply as soon as possible for that option. But there are lots of options in the community as well. So there's individual apartments, shared apartments, and family apartments. You can lease or sublease, and there's different ways where you can try to find information on housing that might be available that's not the on-campus option. We have an office on campus called Off-Campus Student Life, and they're a good resource to help you look at ideas. They even have resources on their website that you can look at for different rentals in the community. I would also highly recommend that you all join our campus community platform, and that is for international students at Colorado State University. There's a discussion board in the campus community where you can find folks that may be looking for a roommate or looking for someone to sublease their apartments. And that's also a great way for you to get connected with current CSU international students before you even arrive. So even if you're not looking for housing, I would recommend that you go ahead and join campus community. Facebook is another place where people sometimes exchange ideas on rentals that may exist. And then if you are one of those undergraduate freshmen, like I said, you would be required to live on campus, and the residence halls are going to open on January 8th. Although there are some options to move in sooner for a fee that would include meals as well, and that would be $75 a day. And you can go to the housing website to learn more about on-campus housing options. Okay, and so now I'm going to move on to talk about health information. Okay, thank you. So I would recommend for you all to copy this link that I have here on the slide. It's a list of things that you need to complete, and there's a separate section for grads and undergrads, things that you need to complete for your studies at CSU. First of all, you're going to have to submit your immunization records before you arrive, hopefully, and your health history docs. And you can go on that website to find out exactly what's required. You're also going to need to complete the alcohol EDU education course. It's an online course, so you don't have to attend a class in person or anything. And then the sexual assault prevention online course. Graduate students only need to do the second one, but undergraduates need to complete both of those courses. And then as CSU students, not as international students, you are required to meet the Colorado health insurance requirement. And the easiest and usually most affordable way to do that is to have the CSU provided health insurance plan. And as international students, you will automatically be signed up for that plan when you register for classes. If you have an alternative plan that you think would meet the requirements, you need to have that plan reviewed by the health insurance office in order to be waived from having the CSU health insurance. We do have a lot of sponsors who we know provide health insurance that does meet the Colorado requirements. And I'll talk more about that in my sponsored student session during orientation. But for those folks, you don't actually have to apply for a waiver. Our team will automatically get you waived for that. Okay. Then the next slide. So in order to register for classes, you are going to need to reach out to your academic advisors and complete some things before you can actually register, and they'll give you a code for registration. For undergraduates, you're going to have to complete a math and an English exam. And you should have received an email from orientation and transition programs explaining the process for completing those exams. And graduate students, it kind of varies from department to department. So I'd recommend that you reach out to your individual departments to see what steps you need to take in order to start that registration process. And then you are required to attend our international orientation. And it's a great opportunity for you to get to know the campus, to get to know other international students, to get to know our team a little bit better. We'll go a little deeper into immigration regulations for you. We'll do a tour of campus, but you do need to register for this. And there's the website there. You should receive emails regarding the orientation as well for that registration. But please plan to arrive on campus in time to attend the orientation, which takes place the week before classes start. And that was all I had to share.
Great, thank you, Christy. Appreciate it. Now, Greg's going to share with us what to do to prepare for getting to CSU. Greg?
All right, sounds good. I think I'm unmuted this time. I apologize, earlier I was muted. So a couple things. I've noticed in the chat that a lot of students are creating WhatsApp groups to kind of communicate with, that kind of thing. That's fine, but I will talk towards the end of the presentation about a new campus community app. Christy briefly mentioned it, but that's not only going to give you an opportunity to connect with each other, it's going to give you an opportunity to connect with other students from your countries, from other countries that are currently here at CSU as well. So trust me when I tell you we're going to provide you resources to get connected. So WhatsApp apps. You can use them in the time being, but you're going to want to connect because it's also going to give you a lot of task lists and information on how to prepare for your arrival when you come. So just keep that in mind. In regard to getting ready for CSU, financial preparation is going to be key. All right. And if you want to forward the slide, Alan, that would be great. So really what we're going to tell you is before you arrive, you need to kind of plan to bring money for initial expenses. So there's going to be transportation from the airport, typically temporary housing if you arrive early. You're going to need to actually eat if you arrive a little bit early. Of course, classes begin, what was it, January 16th. So when you arrive during orientation, you're going to want to have a little bit of flexibility. So bring at least $500 with you. If you don't spend it all, you can apply it towards your balance. So it's not a problem, but we tell you to try to bring about $500 in traveler's checks, US traveler's checks, or cash if you have cash. So make sure that you do that. Now, our fall tuition deadline, we're not applying for fall, so this screen was not updated. But fall tuition deadline is actually spring tuition deadline rather is actually February 5th. And so you're going to want to make sure that you can pay your room and board if you're required to live on campus, your tuition, books and supplies, all of that kind of stuff by February 5th. So there are going to be banking options when you come, and you can definitely wire money into those bank accounts. Typically during orientation, we help you either set up bank accounts or have a couple of the banks come and kind of work with you from that standpoint. First National Bank is one of the banks that students use. So there's going to be plenty of options for you as you arrive on campus. And then as far as the RAM card is going to be your student ID, and you can apply cash on that RAM card that you can use throughout campus as well. In regard to cost of living, I just wanted to mention for those of you who are not required to live on campus and you're going to live off campus, again, as Christy mentioned, you're going to want to start early in terms of making your plans as far as housing. In our campus community app, you'll get a link within the next week or so here to actually download that application. You can start to connect if you're planning to live off campus. Cost of living for apartments tends to be a little expensive here in Fort Collins, and so you need to plan accordingly. We do give you kind of estimates on what the cost, but a typical 2-bedroom apartment here in Fort Collins usually runs between about $1,400 to $1,700 a month, and so that is expensive. So plan for that. We want to make sure that you're prepared for that. So the next thing that we want to talk to you about after finances is what to pack. And so if we go to the next screen here, what should you bring? We're gonna suggest that you bring, well, first of all, Alan has put this awesome weather chart in here, and it gives you an idea in Celsius and what the average temperatures are gonna be. You're gonna be arriving in January, so a high of 6 degrees Celsius. For those of you coming from warm weather climates, this is cold. Over the years, people ask me, how cold is it? Well, at some point, cold just becomes cold. It's cold. And so we want to make sure that you're prepared for that. So bring clothes that can be layered. It can be cold in Colorado during the winter months. Layering helps. So you'll notice I have this outside shirt, this shirt, I have a t-shirt on, and basically that helps keep me cold or warm when I'm outside. Clothes can be purchased here in the United States. There's, as far as winter coats, if you don't have one, try to bring something warm when you arrive from the airport, but we can help you purchase coats and gloves and hats. During orientation, we have a shopping trip that we can help you find some of the cold weather clothes that you need. It is recommended that you bring one item of traditional clothing or national dress. We do have some cultural programs, and it's great if you can actually represent your culture. And then bring clothes that can Yeah, we already talked about that. What to bring on the plane. So scroll back, Alan. It looks like these slides are a little bit out of order, which is okay. Hard copy of the I-20 or your DS 2019. Make sure that you have those copies of those documents. Do not pack these in your luggage, but make sure that you have them on your person. That your valid passport and visa, your I-901 payment receipt, that is the SEVIS fee of $350. Print off that receipt so that you have that. Evidence of funding. So as you cross the border, if Customs and Border Patrol have any questions about your funding, you have documentation on that. You have a sponsor letter, any health forms, any prescriptions in English, and then official transcripts or test scores if you still need to provide those. Any travel insurance documents that you might have. And then if you're bringing a laptop and a phone, make sure that you don't pack those in your luggage, but you bring those as well. If you want to go to the next slide, Alan, that would be great. What else should you bring? So in the dorms, you'll see this typical picture. We provide bed, desk, and closet within the dorms. You can bring or buy your sheets. I would suggest that you can buy your sheets when you arrive here. You keep in mind that you have a limited amount of space as you have your luggage and you're bringing your luggage. So probably be wise and not pack your sheets and blankets and pillows, because we can help you purchase those. And you can get them for relatively inexpensive costs here in the United States. Again, we mentioned warm clothes, or you can buy those here. Bring a few photos from home or bring them on your phone so that maybe you can print them off and hang them up in your dorm room. And then a 110 volt outlet adapter, a NEMA, that might be helpful if you're coming from a country that doesn't have, I think it's 220 in a lot of different countries. So if it's 110 here, bring an adapter. We can help you purchase an adapter as well if you don't have one of those. All right, and so that's kind of the session that I have. I'm going to turn it over to Laura, and Laura's going to talk about arrival and transportation information.
Okay, thank you, Greg. Can we go to the next slide, please? So I'm going to first talk about the documents that you need. So this is also a little out of order. I want to go to the next slide, please, before you actually get out into the transportation. Thank you. So here we are, and this is a wonderful picture of the Denver International Airport. You can see the beautiful tents that kind of resemble the peaks. So once, what you need to have handy when you enter the United States. So oh, and I am sorry, before I talk about that, let me just say there is something called the 30-day rule, which means that any student who comes initially to the United States may enter the country for up to 30 days prior to the start date of the program that you are coming here to do. And that program start date is on page 1 of your I-20. Or on your DS 2019. And so you are going to be coming to the US a few days before your program starts because of orientation. And so, but that's the rule, 30 days before. Now, to enter the country as you get off the plane, you need to have your your passport, which, as was mentioned before, has to be valid for at least 6 months. And this is at all times during your stay here. Your US visa stamp, your I-20, or in a few cases, if you are a student, your DS 2019. The I-901 receipt showing that you pay the SEVIS fee. And it is a good idea to have some document about your funding should you be asked to show it. But the main immigration documents are the passport, the US visa, and your I-20. Now, sometimes at the entry, US Customs and Border Protection agents may want to see additional evidence about something, and they may conduct an interview. This is called secondary inspection. It happens once in a while, so it's a good idea to know that that this exists. This is mostly to verify your information or if a person doesn't have all the necessary documents, they may have to undergo that secondary inspection. I want to go back to the previous. If you are in that situation, we put those phone numbers on the slide that was just shown before, where you can contact our office in case of need. Now, once you pass your inspection and you are into the country, how do you get to Fort Collins? And so there is some information in this slide that you are seeing now. Basically, you can take a shuttle, and there are a couple of companies, Groom and Line, the last one on the list that you can use. You have to set up a reservation for that. And there is also the transit center, the CSU Transit Center, but they only drop students off here on campus at the university. Let's see, I think I covered everything. So
Great, thank you, Laura.
Yeah,
Appreciate that. John, can you share with us how international student advisors help students adjust to CSU and the Fort Collins community?
Sure, yeah, I'd be happy to.
Is
You
there a
can
different
advance a few
slide
slides.
there?
Yeah, so as you can see, we have a great team of people here at ISSS that are eager to help you. And part of what we offer is advising for international students. And there's a number of reasons why you as new students or as continuing students can come see us in the office. We offer immigration advice first and foremost. So if you're curious about ways to maintain your F1 student status or J1 student status, we are your people on campus that can help you. So we'll offer advice if you have questions about maintaining your immigration status or some of your options. For example, for things like employment, what is allowed in your immigration status, and we can help you to prepare applications as well if there are some immigration benefits for your student status that you plan to apply for. So that's a reason that a lot of students will come to see us in advising. As well, if you are just maybe confused or you're not sure where to go, you have some questions and you're not clear exactly where on campus you need to go to have those questions answered. We always like to be a place you can come as a first place if you're not sure where you might need to go. So we can help to connect you with other campus resources or other offices on campus. We always tell students that we can't answer all of your questions, but we can usually find someone who can answer those questions if we don't know the answer to your question. So if you are ever in a situation where you're not clear exactly where you should go or what you need to do, you can always come to see an advisor in the ISSS office, and we would be happy to help you and point you in the right direction. As well, if you're just having some difficulty adjusting to the culture, you can see here the beautiful picture of the oval, which is right outside of our office, covered in snow. If maybe it's a difficult adjustment for you to be here in the winter with the cold weather, or other elements of your cross-cultural adjustment process are challenging, you can come into the office and meet with an advisor where we're happy to help talk you through that experience and provide you with some resources that can help you in your adjustment to CSU and to the United States. So there's a few ways that you can connect with us. We have what are called open advising hours. And these are a set number of hours we have every week where you can come in without an appointment. You can come into our office to meet with us in person, or you can connect with us virtually on Zoom during these open advising hours. Like I said, you do not need an appointment. You can just join us during the designated hours. Sometimes you have to wait a little bit because of these are open hours for any student, so there might be students ahead of you in the line or in the queue. But we'd be happy to see you as long as you check in before those hours end. And those hours are Monday through Thursday from 10 to 11 a.m. and 1 to 3 p.m. And again, you can see us in person or virtually. As well, if you have an issue that you think might take a little bit more time, it might be a little bit more complex, or you would like to have a little bit more individual time with an advisor, you can schedule an appointment with an advisor in our office. We have a system called Navigate that you can use to schedule the appointment. Typically, they're about 30 minutes for appointments. But depending on the situation, the advisor can kind of tell you if you need a follow-up appointment, if it's a little bit more complex, and we can work with you on that. So in general, we say, if you think that your question or your concern will take 10 minutes or less, we would encourage you to utilize our open advising option. And if you have a situation that you think would take more time or need more attention or might be a little bit more complex, we would suggest that you schedule an appointment with us. And like I said, we have those options available either in person, if you prefer to speak with an advisor in person in our office, or virtually through Zoom, or we have another platform called Microsoft Teams that we use as well.
Great, thank you, John. And
welcome.
now we're going to talk a little bit about orientation and what you can expect when you arrive, and some of the activities that you can get involved in. So Bronwyn, my apologies, but please go ahead and share with us.
So orientation is going to start on January 8th, and there will be events throughout that week. So we recommend that you arrive by January 6th and 7th, which is that weekend prior. There will be events throughout the week that will help you get settled in, get acquainted with CSU, get familiar with Fort Collins. You'll get connected with campus resources, community resources. You can see a picture of a bike workshop that we did in the fall. We will be doing another bike workshop, though probably not a bike ride during that week. There'll be a transportation workshop, things like that. Tuesday is the mandatory day. That is Tuesday, January 9th. That is a mandatory for both graduate and undergraduate students. There will be a lot of information that we cover there. There'll be immigration information, campus safety, adjustment to CSU. So a lot of different important topics. So you'll need to be there for that day. And like I said, it's a great opportunity to connect and learn about resources, but also to connect with other new international students and community members. When you arrive, there's also an opportunity, whether it's at orientation or whether once you come to the US, if you want to stop into our office, we have free SIM cards that have 1 free month of service, cell and Wi-Fi data. So if you do not have a SIM card when you first arrive, if you are looking for phone service, you can use the SIM cards that we have in our office until you find a better situation provider, or continue to use the monthly pay-as-you-go plan through the SIM cards we offer. Those are through an external company. It's through Mint Mobile, but those are available at our front desk, and we will have them at orientation. Once you're here, we will have events, regular events. We have weekly events that we do to help connect students with continuing students, other new students. We have in the spring our big international festival. That will be February 17th this year. We have spring break trips. We have monthly outdoor trips. So in the spring semester, there's a couple of snowshoe trips. There's a learn to ski and snowboard trip. and a lot of hikes as the weather heats up and gets into the spring. We'll also provide lots of opportunities for you to connect with other international clubs. So whether it's students from your own country, the Indian Student Association, the Latin American Student and Scholar Association, there are a number of international organizations on campus, as well as over 400 different clubs on campus that have just about any activity, preferences, likes that you may have as well. If you have something that you enjoy, it's almost guaranteed that there's going to be a club on campus that has people that also enjoy that, and we can help connect you with those clubs and resources as well. So we look forward to seeing you the week of January 8th. And you'll see in your email coming soon. You'll get links to register. You'll get information about orientation and lots of other helpful information to help you get started when you get here.
Great, thank you. So Greg, can you kind of tell us how students would be supported from the time that they go from orientation until the time they finish their time at CSU?
Yeah, absolutely. And even before. So first of all, I will say this. We have created these series of pre-arrival workshops just to really start to give you a sense of belonging and really a sense of support and see our smiling faces, so to speak, and who we are as a staff, so that you can, when you arrive in Fort Collins after you've made the long journey, you can start to recognize some of the smiling faces from the seminars that we've had. And so we start right now by supporting you as we prepare you for your arrival and really kind of establishing some expectations. Our goal is for you to have kind of this soft landing. As you, if you've never flown before, you know, if this is going to be your first time on an airplane, I'm sure you'll be a little bit nervous. And what you always hope for is just a smooth landing right onto the runway, and you arrive and everything's great. And we are going to try to ensure that that happens for you, not from a pilot standpoint, because we can't control the airplane, but from arriving in Fort Collins and really helping you to have a wonderful experience when you get here. So I did want to briefly mention Campus Community again. It's an app that we have just rolled out. We have rolled it out to our current students. So we have students that are on that app, phone app, and available for you to kind of get to know prior to arrival. The Campus Community platform will help you really prepare and answer questions, find roommates on housing, get advising on, you know, what tasks you need to complete prior to your arrival. Once you arrive, we'll inform you of events and send messages from our office. And so really our goal is to support you and make sure that you have a fantastic experience. We also have you know, wonderful newsletters. Bronwyn actually sends out a newsletter, a campus activity newsletter, events newsletter that informs you of what events are coming up. John and Lisa help students from an academic success standpoint, and we have a bi-weekly to bi-monthly newsletter that actually goes out to help keep you on track in terms of academic support and that kind of thing. Keep a lookout on your email for the Campus Community invite. If you have an iPhone, it's going to send you to the Apple Store. If you have an Android phone, it's going to send you to the Google Play Store, and you can download that application for free. It takes you 30 seconds to create a profile. You upload a picture, you tell us your name, your country, the languages you speak, the major that you have listed or that you're intending to pursue. And then we ask for between 5 and 10 hobbies or interests that you have. And then it starts to suggest folks that you should connect up with. Like, hey, here's more students from your country, or here's students that like similar things that you do, or here are the students that are coming in that are a civil engineering major or a computer science major or a literature major or what have you. And so that campus community app is going to get you connected and provide a sense of belonging before you even arrive here on campus. And so we're excited to support you in any way possible. We've got some new technology coming out that's going to assist you from that standpoint. In the meantime, I see some of you have created WhatsApp groups. That's awesome. But you will have the opportunity to really find out who other Ghanaian students are, or Nigerian students, or Russian Federation students, or what have you. You'll be able to start to meet and greet some of your fellow country men and women and classmates as you prepare to arrive, and you can start to communicate with them as well. It's a pretty cool app, and we're excited for you to have access to that. I believe that the IEC will be sending out an email within the next week or two here that will really kind of encourage you to sign up for that app and really start to establish a sense of belonging. So that's great.
Greg, do you want us to put those links in the chat now, though, so people can start?
So I think no, and the reason why is because they are actually creating the accounts on the campus community side and then blasting out an email. So basically they need to upload some information. I believe that's going to hopefully happen by this Friday. So be patient, and we will send you those invites shortly here. So, but thanks for the suggestion, Bronwyn. A couple ways to contact and connect with us. Facebook, CSU Rams, International Rams is one option. Instagram, I know we post all of our events and all of our social happenings and a lot of the cool things that are happening at CSU on csu.international.rams. You can email us at ISSS@colostate.edu. We've got a couple of phone numbers there if you would like to contact us via phone. And of course, you can always go out to our international.colostate.edu/ISSS website. And we also have a YouTube channel that is youtube.com/CSU International. You should have no excuse to not be connected with us prior to your arrival. And of course, we are happy to answer any questions that you have prior to your arrival. So hopefully this has been a beneficial session for you to get you introduced not only to our staff, but also to set your expectations high that we're here to help answer your questions as you move forward in this process. And we look forward to greeting you with smiles when you arrive in January. So might be cold outside, but it's always warm and sunny in our office. So stop by and we will help you out. So with that, there have been many questions that have come in throughout the session. But if anyone has any sessions or questions rather that they want to ask, feel free to either raise your hand and unmute, or if you want to put a couple of questions in the chat box, that's fine. But otherwise, we thank you for attending our presentation today. Any questions? And it's okay.
Hello, sir. I have one question.
Ashraful, are you asking a question?
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
So my name is Ashraful Alam. Yesterday I faced the visa interview and VO accepted my visa.
Hey, congratulations. That's exciting. We will celebrate with you. That's fantastic.
Yeah. So right now I just have one issue, which is my service fee is gonna expire on 19th November. And I'm gonna arrive in Colorado in December. So do I need to pay again the service fee before coming?
Don't believe so. That CVIS fee needed to have been valid prior to your application for the visa. Now that they have actually approved your visa, then the CVIS fee, it's a one-time fee because as students kind of travel, once you've gotten the visa, then you should be fine. You don't have to repay that every time. It's valid for a year prior to applying for a visa, but once you've gotten the visa, then that's the only time you would have had to pay that CVIS I-901 fee. So you should be fine, Ashraful.
Okay, I didn't receive my passport yet. I will receive in 2 weeks, they said.
Okay, well, but they saw the receipt when you applied for your visa, so you should be fine, Ashraful.
Yeah, that's the thing. Thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for your question. Any other questions? Looks like, can we get scholarships before course starts? So Shravan, ready. So Shravan, you would want to reach out to the IEC in regards to scholarships if you're an undergrad student. If you're a graduate student, you would want to, they don't really call them scholarships, but they call them assistantships, and you would want to reach out to your department in regards to seeing if there's any graduate assistantships that are available.
Hello, sir. I've got a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
As we've been told that orientation day is 8 January and the deadline to attend the classes would be 14 January. Let's say I get the visa, but that's after 14 January. So as advised, I need to defer my course. So after getting visa, is there any option of online classes or something like that?
So there's the answer is maybe. So let me step back and answer your first question. We do have some late arrival policies. Let's say you get your visa after the 14th, but it's before, if you're an undergrad student, before the Friday of the first week of classes, we do allow students still to arrive as long as they can arrive by Friday of the first week of classes. So that's one late arrival policy for undergrad students. For grad students, with the approval of your department, we would allow you to arrive up to 2 weeks after the start of the semester. So keep that in mind. That's kind of a late arrival policy that we have. So there's still a possibility to arrive, but if you have to defer and you cannot be present in Fort Collins by the spring semester, then you would want to reach out, if you're a grad student, reach out to your department to see if there's some possibilities of taking some online classes. And the answer is when you're outside of the US, you could take as many online classes as you want. Once you're present in the United States, there are limitations on the number of online classes you can take per semester. If you're an undergrad student, then it would be talking with your academic advisor that's listed in your admission letter and seeing if there's a possibility to register for some online classes as well. So the short answer is yes, there's that possibility, but you would want to speak with your program advisors or your academic advisor to see what type of opportunity there might be to take some online classes. Hope that helps.
Sure. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And feel free, Sajid, it looks like you have your hand raised, and feel free if any of the other staff want to answer. I don't want to hog all the questions. So
Yeah, okay.
feel free.
Just one question, sir. Thank you for the info first, and that really helped us a lot with the info that you guys gave us. But I have one question. My application seems completed, and all the documents that I have sent you guys received. But there seemed like a deposit, 300 deposit that I have to pay.
$300 deposit. I know nothing about
Yeah.
Enrollment deposit.
Okay.
Yes.
So, Bronwyn, do you have any insight on that?
Yeah, it's an enrollment deposit, and so it goes towards your orientation fees. So undergrads have to pay that enrollment deposit, and then it goes to a couple of things, and then the balance of it will go towards your account.
But you do not need to pay that prior to receiving your I-20, I don't believe. Is that correct, Bronwyn? Or Zach?
I don't believe you need to pay your enrollment deposit before receiving your I-20, but you do need to pay it ideally prior to your arrival.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. I think sending an email to international@colostate.edu, someone at that email can answer that question.
Okay, thank you.
Ajid, thanks for the question. It looks like we do have one. Yeah, writes, I set a date at the U.S. Embassy of December 18th as the day for the interview. Is it possible for me to change the date, meaning beginning of October, such as the 4th or the 11th of December? You would need to contact the embassy, Yaya. Ultimately, we just attended a professional conference where there was a U.S. consulate that provided some information, or a former U.S. consulate. And there is at some embassies an opportunity to request an expedited visa process for students, but you would have to check with the embassy in your country to see if that's available. If you've got the December 18th, keep that and then keep looking if there's an open date and schedule it for sooner. And then you can always cancel that December 18th date if you've got a date that is sooner. Now, we're past the beginning of October, so I'm assuming you're saying November there, at the beginning of November. Change the date to the beginning of November. That's fine. Hopefully that answers your questions there. And then Dell asked, what is the mandatory fees to be paid for graduate students? Those so the tuition and fees actually vary according to the program that you're in, the number of credits that you take, all of those kind of things. And so you would want to reach out. Your department should have a cost estimate on their website that will give you the information on what kind of fees that you're going to be required to pay for the spring semester. So I would suggest that you check out your department website. And thanks, John. It looks like you also put in an estimated fees link there. That's awesome. You can find their major and kind of look through that as well. So that's great. Yes, Christy, jump in.
Hey, I just wanted to share, in case you didn't see in the chat, I put the wrong move-in date for the residence halls. It's actually January 11th. That's the date you can move in without paying a fee, but you can move in prior to that, starting on January 6th, and the cost for that is $75 a day. I apologize that that was incorrect in my slide.
Cool. Other questions? Oh, it looks like Jod says, I'm F2 visa and I'm already here in Fort Collins. What can I do in the meantime? Are there any extra requirements? So are you actually an F1 visa holder or actually an F2 dependent of an F1 visa holder, Jod? And feel free to unmute if you want to just dependent. Okay. So F2s can actually take part-time classes. They cannot take full-time classes. So if you're admitted and you want to start to take classes, not a lot that you can do in the meantime. If you want to connect with our office, you're more than welcome to plug into the international student community and the events that we offer until the spring semester starts. I don't think there's any issues there. We'd love to get you connected, but you'll register for your classes. And keep in mind that as an F2 visa holder, you have to take less than 12 credits. So 11 credits or less to maintain your F2 status. So just keep that in mind. And also with an F2 visa, you are not allowed to work underneath your F2 visa. So if you can begin your studies as an F2, but a lot of times we'll encourage F2 dependents to apply for a F1 change of status so that you can go full-time and you can work and do all of that kind of stuff. Please feel free to stop into our office and one of our advisors can give you advice on how to apply for a change of status from F2 to F1. It takes a little while to do that though. So.
Okay, regarding the classes, I already registered an intensive English program that will start in January. But before that, can I take, for example, like art classes, like part-time classes?
So if you've been admitted to the ESL program, our PLACE program, you before you can start to take art classes and whatnot, and be fully admitted to the institution, you will need to have the appropriate English language scores if you don't have those already. If you have those and you're just kind of polishing up on your academic writing or your speaking skills, that kind of thing, you could potentially take a one class or two classes underneath a special student admit where they allow you to take less than, I believe it's 8 credits per semester. But so you could do part-time, but all told, your enrollment in PLACE and your credits that you're taking at the undergraduate level, if that's a possibility, cannot be more than 11 credits or the equivalent of 11 credits. So probably talk with the ESL program, your connection there with the PLACE program, and your advisor in the PLACE program, and then ask them that question and see what possibilities there might be. We do have an ESL bridge program that allows you to take some English language courses along with maybe 1 or 2 courses. So that is potentially a possibility, Jode.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Ahmed had a question, and then we'll go to a couple of questions in the chat.
Yeah. Thank you. Sorry, I joined a little bit late. I'm not sure if talked about the vaccination. Because I am not sure about the vaccination because I cannot find my records. And is there any way I cannot, if I cannot find my vaccination records, like a test or something that proves that I took the required vaccination?
Typically, if you aren't able to provide those records, they would just offer those vaccines to you to make sure that you have all the vaccines that you need.
So there is potential that you would have to take those vaccinations again, Ahmed. So keep that in mind. They are not harmful if you take it twice, as far as MMRs, but there may be a possibility where our UC Health Center will require, our medical folks will require you to take those vaccinations again. So try to find them if you can. Try to find the documentations. That would be great. So we do have, yeah, no problem. Thanks, Ahmed. We do have a question from Abraham, Abhiram, sorry. I'm trying to look at through my glasses here. Freshman, am I eligible to apply for housing apartments instead of residence halls? So we are going to encourage you. We really don't have those answers. Housing has those answers. And so we would require you to reach out to our housing staff to ask that question. They'll be able to give you a definitive answer. We do have another housing session that's coming up. Bronwyn, remind me, is that an off-campus housing or is that an on-campus housing?
Yeah, next week on Tuesday, November 3rd is off-campus life.
Okay.
So that will be off-campus housing. I put the housing email in the chat though, and that's the best email address to reach out to. You can ask them about the exemption. You can get the information on how you apply for the exemption. It is unlikely that many people will receive the exemption. So just going into it knowing that you have to have a pretty strong case for why you shouldn't live on campus for that first year requirement. But that is the email address you should reach out to for that.
Perfect, thank you. All right, we have a question from Bobby. So basically after getting the I-20, can I simply book a visa appointment without worrying about booking a medical exam? The answer is yes. You don't need a medical exam completed in order to apply for a visa. So you can go ahead and apply for that. If you need a medical exam when you arrive, our UC Health Center will be able to provide that for you if you don't have the appropriate immunizations, Bobby. So you should be fine there. There should be no delay there. So can I get Rinty asks, can I get an expedited date for my earlier appointment date. So Rinty, you would have to reach out to the embassy through their website, the website in your country, to find out if an expedited visa appointment is available in your country for students. And if it is, then you would follow their processes to request an expedited date. Unfortunately, we don't have any influence over embassies or consulates or whatnot in terms of visa appointments. So that is something you would need to check out with your embassy in your country.
Hello.
Hello.
Please. Yeah, this is Rashid from Ghana.
Rashid, welcome.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, I want to ask about. I apply for studying English as a second language, and can they? I don't know. Will they accept to give me the visa because Ghana is English country, and I'm coming there to learn English as second language. Probably can I get the visa or?
Yeah, so it's a great question. So if you're coming for English is the national language of your home country, can you still come to a English as a second language program? It's going to be up to the consulate officer, the visa officer, to make that decision. However, if there's reasons to come to an ESL program because you need to work on your academic English writing skills, so on and so forth, maybe even your speaking skills, that kind of thing, it should be fine. You're not going to be denied just because you're from Ghana for a ESL program, but they may have some questions and be prepared to answer them. Hope that helps. And Bobby says, extremely delighted that we had this meeting session. Good. That's what we're hoping for, that it releases a lot of stress and that it provides you answers. Keep in mind that even though our session ends in a couple minutes here, you always have access to reach out to us ask us questions as you're preparing to arrive. We're here to help. Again, I think the campus community app as well, once you get that invite through your email within the next week or so, that's coming from IEC, our International Enrollment Center. So once you get that email, quickly go out and create a profile and an account and a profile. It is free, doesn't cost you anything to download the app, and then you're going to be able to start getting connected with other students even prior to arrival. So it's going to be great. And we'll help you continuously, Bobby, and the rest of you. We're here to help. So
Yeah, just hoping to see you all soon.
Yeah, we will be there to greet you with smiles for sure. So we look forward to meeting you, Bobby. Super. Adil, you're welcome.
Sir, I just have one question.
Yeah, Ashraful, go ahead.
Yeah, so do I need to come directly to Colorado, Fort Collins? Can I go any other state when I'm coming to USA?
Good question. That's a great question. So as you travel, you can stop in other states. We have students that have family in other states, that kind of thing. But one of the things, or maybe a red flag for Customs and Border Patrol, is if you have a flight that doesn't actually end in Denver or in Colorado. And so a lot of times what you'll want to do is schedule your flight so that if you arrive, let's say in New York, for example, or maybe LA, and you have family out there or friends out there, just make sure that you have an ending flight that ends at Denver International Airport, maybe 2 weeks later. Just plan accordingly, but there's no problem stopping by other states, that sort of thing. That's completely fine. If you have family and then they were going to drive you out, you might get questions referred to secondary at the airport when you arrive, and they're going to maybe ask you, why doesn't your plane ticket end in Denver or in Colorado? Your response then, of course, would be, I have family in this state or whatever state, and then they're going to be driving me to my university at that time. That's a sufficient answer, but you need to be able to answer why you're not, your flight doesn't end in Denver. So it's a great question.
Thank you, sir, for your answer.
So Rinty, she says, please pray for us, our visa interview. We're so excited to meet you all. One thing I did want to mention, we have two more sessions. We have another session that duplicates this session. So if you see Meet the ISSS staff and you have more questions, you're going to get a similar presentation, but you can definitely ask questions and attend that if you would like. We also have a navigating the visa process workshop that really gives you insight into, kind of what to anticipate when you go for a visa and you go to the US Embassy, answer some of your questions from that standpoint. So you'll be receiving emails from our International Enrollment Center based on the upcoming workshops as well. So keep in mind that we can always prepare you for that. There is also some of our past recordings of those on our website. Bronwyn, can you drop that link in the meeting chat? I don't know exactly what link that is, but if anyone knows, if we can drop that in the chat, you can go out and watch those previous workshops as well.
I don't think they're on the website yet, but they are being emailed as well.
Oh, great. That's awesome. So.
One more question, sir.
Yeah, Sajid.
Regarding to the visa appointment, do they ask you about the original I-20 or copy is enough?
Actually, you would need to print up. So an electronic copy is sufficient. Our electronic signatures are fine. They don't have to be a wet signature. So you do not need to have an I-20 sent to you to apply for your visa. That's a recent change over the last year due to COVID. Well, last couple of years, but they made it permanent this last year that students can really receive electronic copies of their I-20. You do need to print that off and then sign that yourself before you go to the visa interview, but you do not need an original I-20 sent to you or mailed to you from our office in order to apply for the visa.
What about an arrival situation and the secondary interview?
It's completely fine. The printed I-20 that you have with your signature and our electronic signature, that is sufficient to get you into the United States through Customs and Border Patrol. So you're fine there too.
So basically, you don't need the real copy of the I-20 in any cases.
You do not. Nope. Department of Homeland Security has gone towards electronic I-20s, but again, I have to clarify, you have to print that off and you have to have that in your hands as you cross the border and enter the United States. So we'll send you an electronic copy with a signature on it. You print that off and then you carry that with you to the visa appointment. You carry that with you to the, as you enter the United States, you will be 100% fine.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, folks. Well, we are at the end of our session. So thank you all for attending. If you have further questions, reach out to us via the emails that we provided. But we are looking forward to meeting you all in January. We will send good vibes, good energy your way in terms of the visa process. And keep us posted. As you get the visa, we'll celebrate with you. And we trust that all 30 of you, because we have a few of our staff members here, but as many of you that are attending, that you all get your visa. That's what we're hoping for. So we will keep our fingers crossed, but have a wonderful either day, evening, afternoon, wherever you're at. And we are, again, thankful that you attended today. So thank you all.
Thanks, everyone.
Take care.
Hi, everyone. Thanks.